Alright, what's up YouTubers, Facebook fans? So today, I wanted to, I haven't finished watching all this video yet. I haven't got to the where he starts this thing up, but good lord, this thing is beautiful. So let's take a look at Tony's 1969 Ford Torino here. Talladega edition. It's just been put up here, I guess about 7 hours ago, it says. So let's go through this, and I guess I'll give you some of my thoughts of it as well. Now, this, like I said, this thing is very, 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 very fast. He's saying, like I said, it is a NASCAR car here, so we should have pretty much to expect here. Now, keep in mind, like I said, we do have that. I can pull that up if you all want to see it, but we do have the other car that we used to have. At least when I was working there, you all remember because it's got lots of views. That Dodge Challenger, the blown one we had, that thing was a beast too. However, I believe that car was set up to go just straight line. This one you can do either or. I'll just run that by you real quick if I can find it. Hang on a minute. Anyway, while I find it, I'll let you all watch this. So just check this out.
Hey everybody, I'm Tony Fleming from Fleming's Ultimate Garage. Thank you for joining me today on what may be the fastest video we've ever done, right? Whoa. You say, Tony, that's, what does that mean? It'd be short video? You're going to talk super fast? No. We potentially could go 200 miles an hour plus in this car right here. Maybe not. But, however, it is built for that kind of speed. We're going to spend some time looking at this, and I'm going to apologize up front. Normally I don't read off of these things here. I know most of everything about the cars, but in this case here, there is so much put into this car, almost $250,000 spent on it, and 6 test miles. 6 test miles, right? When we look at some of the detail and the effort put into this, you're going to say to yourself, wow, I had no idea that a NASCAR looked like this underneath, inside, and whatever. This car.
So here's the Challenger video, in case you don't remember. This is it right here. Let me make sure I click on this thing. Here we go.
So fast. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this might be the only doggone light. This thing sounds like it's got a serious supercharger. It just stalled it. Typical dog.
Let me get where we get it out of the trailer here.
Holy shit.
So
look at that. Let me see. I'm gonna see the. God damn. Go. Good. Oh.
And of course, the inside looks pretty nice too.
Because I always find to me, I might have to take back what I said about Dodge.
See that? So it got nice roll gauge and like Dodge stuff. Anyway, but back to this. So we had that one as well.
It's actually mid-engine. Mid-engine. The engine's back there? No. I'm going to show you what that means as well. I'm going to show you the finest.
Now, keep in mind, remember how I told you guys how Tony runs the business. This car didn't get a video until, you see that? Green sticker, so it's ready to go. So that means, like I see, he's going through all his checklists. As soon as he got there, he went over the whole car again, see what else he might want to do to it. It sounded like it didn't do anything to it. So pretty much ready to roll, wait when it come in there, maybe just get it fresh gas and then tune up whatever that was. And it's ready to go again. So, this car is green sticker, which means it's ready to roll. And Tony's approved of it, so he's happily made a video about it because he's confident on what he's doing right here.
Some of the finest. Because there's a lot of competition out there, but maybe the finest black paint, tuxedo black paint you've ever seen. All right,
I'll send you the link to it too.
Things like that. Here's what I want to share with you. Painting, you and I could probably paint a car. You say, Tom, I've never painted a car. How could I possibly do that? Well, it involves a little bit of this. However, painting a car is not wrapped up in the paint. Yes, it's a big process, and I'm not taking anything away from the painter. However, great paint is tied up in the prep of the car. And you say, well, Tom, what does that actually mean, the prep of the car? Well, here's what you'll know. If you were at home and you fixed a nail hole and you put your filler in and you sand it and then you paint it and you can still kind of see the nail hole, that means that your prep that you did wasn't so good, right? The same thing happens on these long panels. If they're not straight and flat, a black car will show you everything immediately, right? White cars kind of hide that stuff. Black cars show everything. In this case here, these panels, most of them are new. Secondly, they are done so well and such incredible preparation that the paint is so flat, so shiny, and so beautiful. You can see everything from the ceilings to the reflections of everything around us in this paint. And when I do our paint test, you'll be able to read every letter nice and crisp. Why is that important? Because the crisper the letter, the better the paint is, right? Orange peely paint gives you orange peely looking letters. Crisp, shiny, deep coated paint gives you nice crisp letters, and that's what we're going to talk about right now. Check that out right there. You can see.
Now I'll stop right there. So that's a great point he made. However, what also helps this? Wax. So there's some wax that they got to put on these cars too. And there's some detailer stuff I haven't myself. I bought some from Amazon. Anyway, the same stuff he uses. But a good way to do it also, like I said, you got to have wax on these cars to make it look like that. Otherwise, you won't be able to read it as kind of clear as that is. So that car has had a couple coats of wax on it. At least, I don't know how fresh that paint is, but a good coat of wax. And when you get this car, keep doing that. Put wax on it. Whatever it is, keep it garage kept. Whatever you need to do. Whenever you finish driving this car, put wax on it and put it away. Please, so to keep looking like that. You notice the same thing with his floors at the shop. All that had at least about 15, 20 coats of wax on it before we even moved into the building and put cars in there. So that's why the floor looks like that as well.
So nice, crisp, every detail, beautiful. All right, so when you're building a NASCAR, you got three parts of the business to do, right? Because now you're a businessman. You have the exterior of the car that needs to cut through the wind, right? You got to work on all of it to make sure it flows as best as possible using the least amount of horsepower. The interior of the car, right? Gutted to make it as light as possible and comfortable for the driver with all the ancillary pieces inside to help him know what's happening, him or her, right? And then you have the business of this here. This is a monster motor. It's a Boss 429, hand-assembled, hand-built, 681 horsepower on pump gas dyno, right? 681 pump gas, right? Can you get more out of it? Yes. But
I don't know how much
the
challenge
right now,
I think maybe 9.
Horsepower. The one amazing piece about this car is that it was designed not only to go on a track, but also to go for cruising and things like that. So
now, let me stop Tony right there, because what I would do, maybe you could probably suggest this to him if you want to get the car. But something I would do, unless you are 100% sure you know it's going to rain outside, I would work on getting some fender wells put in there. That way it doesn't get up and in the engine on the spark plug, stuff like that. So that would be my suggestion to my viewers, or whoever else. Like I said, that would be my suggestion, is to get some inner fender wells put in that thing. But like I said, they do run these cars on, I don't know if they did back then, but I know the ones now, they still have open fenders in there, and they run them all the time like that. But like I said, I think they go over those cars again before the next race and all that stuff. So that's fine with them. But as far as you owning the car, I would probably recommend getting inner fender wells put in. Me personally.
Does it have that maybe a NASCAR? This has air conditioning, believe it or not. This has modern heat and air. So you could enjoy this car, right? The sound of it is ridiculous. Ridiculous, right? And when you pull into a car show in this vehicle here,
I got the surround sound on.
Everybody already knows it's not a normal car. Secondly, the chassis for Dale Jarrett's car is in here, and it's welded onto the frame right there, the chassis number, so you know what you're getting, right? This is a real deal NASCAR chassis setup. The brakes are this wide, right? The rotors are this big. You have to have bigger wheels on the car just to fit the brakes inside there. They're enormous, okay? Lastly, this is a mid-engine car. NASCARs are mid-engine. You say, well, Tony, how can you have a mid-engine car? The engine's up front, it's not in the back. It doesn't have to be in the back to be mid-engine. What it has to be is if the center line line of the front wheel is right here, as long as the engine is behind that, and that's what we've done here because the NASCAR chassis allows them to fabricate and do that, right? It gets all the weight off the front end, so the car handles much better, and that's exactly what we have here. Not to mention a giant radiator, electric fans, all of the things that you would need to make sure that you ran cool and enjoy. Has the screens in front to keep bugs out. These right here for fresh air. And then lastly, we have ram air here through the cowl, and the cowl is scooped in the back, custom molded in the back, so the cold air gets inside that air cleaner, and it doesn't take the hot air from where all this work is going on. So far, I rambled a lot, but you can see clearly this is amazing. All right, so we have some serious hardware built into this, right? I want to spend a minute so you can see the effort that's gone into it. For instance, we have here, obviously welded in here for the fitment of the fuel can, right? Dump the fuel in you go, right? Nice and safe. This right here is actually a fuel vent, okay, built into the car, riveted on. So you say, well, why would they rivet on these types of things? The spoiler itself, riveted all the way at the top and the bottom. Why? Because at 200 miles an hour, things fly off the car, right? We don't want that to happen. This right here, there's a lot of air coming inside this car. A lot of air. So much air that potentially this could have popped out of the car because of the turbulence inside. These straps do a good job of holding that back down, all right? Once we get inside here, we have the tail lights. Here's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to make the car as smooth as possible.
LED tail lights.
Going through the wind.
Maybe.
Right? This trunk lid right here easily could pop open as well from a regular just trunk latch. The trunk latch isn't designed to be holding the trunk on at 200 miles an hour, so they pin it, right? I took those off just so you could see it. But check this out. The trunk is as nice as any Bentley trunk that you'll ever look at. The fuel cell is here, dual fuel feeds, right? The frame and chassis welded all the way through the back here. The battery held down in a billet mode. Dual cables holding it all together, right? Exactly the way it's supposed to be. Set up nicely, beautifully restored, and you can still see it's so much nicer than an original NASCAR because this was designed to be a show car as well and to be able to take.
I hope Tony got a chance to drive it by himself.
When you pull up in this car, I keep saying it because once you hear it outside, you're like, oh my God, now I get it, right? When you hear this car, that Boss motor coming out the sides in this car is amazing, and I can't wait to show it to you.
Look at it.
All right, so much of this car is underneath of it as well, right? We talked about the business of everything in here, but there's so much underneath that you can't really see while we're walking around. For instance, welded onto the drive shaft.
Take a look at, see that? Underneath the car, painted in my color. Also, that's Ford's color anyway, so. Awesome, look at the suspension and all that.
Is the pulley to drive the pump to cool the rear of the car, right? And everything is done with braided lines, AN fittings. This has a rear end cooler, not like a fan that we would normally see, but an actual radiator style cooler on here to keep the rear end cool, right? During these high speeds.